Well, now look at me. I'm the recorder now.
Oh, you're doing it?
Yeah, well, yeah,
Okay.
sure. Let's do it. Where was
Shit,
it?
I don't.
Yeah.
I may or may not be eating Pop-Tart.
You are a
You're-
Pop-Tart.
You're the worst kind of human being.
Fun fact, I have never had a Pop-Tart. They don't sell them in Brazil.
Not missing much.
Well, yeah, you know.
I take it you're a toaster strudel kind of man.
No, I mean, they're all right, but they're just not great, you know?
Oh yeah, they're not great, but
I mean,
I haven't eaten anything today.
Actually like them more than toaster strudels, to be honest.
This podcast is not brought to you by Pop-Tarts, but if they want to sponsor us, hit us up.
This podcast isn't brought to you by anything except 3 morons and a couple microphones.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Shifty podcast. I am Luis, aka SpartanSloth, and today we have...
It's your boy, Jim Sir, back.
And TJ1023.
And I have just realized I forgot to put the topics here in our chat, so I'll get on that.
Are you sure you're not lying to us about that?
I feel like this is a conspiracy.
And cue
agree.
the X-Files soundtrack.
Oh, I'll do it too. Copyright strike worth it.
Yep.
We gotta get the truth out there, guys. That's what it's all about. Talking about the lizard people and the ball earth and all that good shit. Oh, it's great.
Isn't there like a lower limit to how much of a song you can have in a video before it's copyright?
Well, I mean,
It's
if
like-
we were to do it, it'd be fair use. Just because if we only do part of the song, we're only doing it as a parody of the main song. We're not profiting from it, so it falls under fair use.
Yeah, I think it's like 4 seconds or so. It's enough to get the...
And that's it.
So, Jim, you are actually the one who brought up the conspiracy theory topic. So, did
I wanna-
something...
I did go about ape shit earlier this week. So, if did y'all see the video of the SpaceX rocket?
I saw a GIF.
Yeah.
Yeah, where it landed on the barge and after going into orbit. Basically, they'd stuck a camera onto the hull, or they built it in, I guess, to the hull of the SpaceX rocket, and it's in one of these high endurance cameras that can handle a lot of heat, and so it goes in the atmosphere, and it comes back into the atmosphere, and it lands on a barge in the middle of the ocean. It's the whole video is like sped up. And I saw it, and I thought it was amazing. I was like, holy shit, like, this is what I want to do one day. Like, I want to go into space, and then I want to fly back to the planet. It's great. You know, like, that's always been a dream ever since I was a wee kid. And so I found
Pretty
this-
much you want to jump really high.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'd like to go, like, into deep space if I could, but that I don't think it's going to happen in my lifetime. So, you know, we'll settle for what I can take. Hopefully before I'm, like, 90. And so I saw this video that was titled, like, SpaceX rocket landing a hoax. And I was like, I wonder what this guy's got to say. Like, I thought he was going to say something intelligent that was like, hey, this video is fake, and maybe do, like, a funny thing. I didn't know. I don't even know what the channel was now. I've forgotten what it was. And he gets on this video. It's like a 5-minute video, and he starts ranting about how this is all a plan by the people who are controlling the Earth to prove the ball Earth exists. And I was like, what in the fuck is this guy talking about, the ball Earth? And it's basically, I watched some more of his, like, I watched like 30 seconds of another video he did, and then I was done. And so I had to go look this up. Basically, there's a group of people out there who believe that the Earth is in fact not round. It is either flat or it is a cylinder.
Okay.
They have, go ahead. They have two. They only have 2 points for this. Okay, for the cylinder, all right, is that planes cannot fly over the North Pole and the South Pole. They're prevented by the United Nations from doing that. Ergo, the Earth is in fact not round. It is a tube. Then there's no North and South Pole to go over. That's theory 1. Theory 2. If you watch a boat out at sea go, because you know the ocean is more or less, when you're standing on the beach and looking out at the ocean, it's more or less just flat. You'll see a basically the boat shrink out into the distance. But then if you get a telescope and you hold it up to your eye and then you see the boat, you'll notice the boat is no longer small. So it is in fact not moving around the curve of the Earth. It is just a long way away on the flat plane. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm gonna lose my shit. Like I'm about level fucking 10, about to lose my shit right now. It is so stupid, this idea.
I know Tyler gets really mad at me when I do this, but I feel like this deserves a comeback. I
The
don't know
Inception
if
button, that sounded
Yeah.
kind of soft.
Yeah, what was it? It was like the
The Inception button.
oh, okay.
There we go.
Jim,
All right.
Go ahead.
I gotta say, I went on literally the exact same internet tangent the other night.
Really?
Yep.
Oh my God,
Point,
dude.
line, and sinker. I was on Reddit, space Reddit, r/space, I think. Yeah. And I found that, and I watched like 10 seconds of the video, and I had to stop when the guy said the ball Earth theory. And I'm like, what? How do these people think this way? This way?
We all know the Earth is on the back of a giant turtle. What a bunch of morons.
I guess these guys' argument is that there is a group of people, we're going to say the Illuminati, just because I don't want to go into any other crazy theories, and everybody kind of has a general idea of what the Illuminati is supposed to be. The Illuminati is controlling the whole world, and they only want people to believe the Earth is a ball, that it's a sphere, but it's not. It's like so fucking stupid.
Don't forget, it could be the Illuminati, the lizard people, the Rothschilds, or Elvis.
We're gonna get to the lizard people.
The thing
We're
is,
gonna have that discussion. Go ahead, DJ.
there's actually the Flat Earth Society is actually like getting bigger and bigger dumb movement right now.
I
How can
can't.
Like
people
they've got
become-
I think they've actually gotten a couple celebrities to sign on.
I just can't believe it.
I know there
I
was
just
a
can't fucking
rapper
believe it.
who,
Yeah, there was.
who's going on and on about
2
how
Chainz,
the Earth is flat.
I think.
Yeah, that one. I think it was 2 Chainz. I could be mistaken. Sorry, 2 Chainz, if it wasn't you, but if it
was you, you're an idiot.
Just yeah, I'm sorry.
It's B&B. I'm surprised I'm defending 2 Chainz of all people.
But I actually went onto their website and I was trying to see if there was anything they could blog down in their crazy conspiracy theorist type, and I couldn't find anything. And it turns out they have just so much stuff on there that doesn't make any sense. But they take themselves so seriously, they even have their own podcast.
Oh, Christ.
And I tried listening to the
Competition,
first 10 seconds of it, and I'm like, these people are going to sound crazy. They're going to sound like 2 freaking old guys, talking into like a ham radio or something. But they sounded like normal, like young adult males.
That's the thing that got me about this guy. He sounded like normal. Like if you met him in a bar and you weren't talking about the Illuminati taking over the ball Earth or the flat Earth or whatever fucking Earth we live on, it would be normal. And that's what's terrifying about it.
It's like you meet them in the bar, you start talking about like life problems, things like that. And then all of a sudden he starts talking to you about the flat Earth and the ball Earth conspiracy. And at that point you just you pay your tab and walk away.
Yeah, man, that's the worst thing. It actually happened to me, not exactly with conspiracy theories, but like I was just there. I was at the bank, actually. I was waiting for my ticket to go up and they would call me there. Out of nowhere, an old man approaches me and starts just discussing his political views with me and like pretty much trying to get me to vote for his candidate. So if that was a conversation about conspiracy theories, it would probably be more enjoyable.
My whole thing is that like their argument is completely predicated around the idea of I have not gone to space to see that the Earth is in fact a circle or a sphere. Therefore, it isn't. And it's like, okay, fine. Let me throw another one at you. Use a fucking telescope and go look. Go look at another fucking planet. You don't need a spaceship for that. Your telescope doesn't have to be obnoxiously expensive. You can get other telescopes and you can see with reasonable clarity other
But Jim,
planets.
you don't understand. Physics, everything we know about physics is a lie.
Physics is a lie.
Those aren't actually millions of miles
I don't know
away.
how I'm sticking to the planet. It's magnets.
The entirety of the universe is 5,000 kilometers above us.
Telescopes were invented by the Illuminati.
Technically, they were.
See?
That is-
See?
you're technically correct, which is the best kind of correct.
I'm gonna put on my tinfoil hat.
You've heard of Galileo, right? The guy who made the really cool telescopes.
Yes.
Yeah, he
was
wrote
like
that
the
song for
found-
Queen, right? Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yes.
Sure.
See?
We'll go with that.
He was actually like the founder of the original Illuminati, which was not so much a world conquering organization as like a pen pal group of scientists who were politely rebelling against the Catholic Church.
They were as close as we got to real Avengers, then. Just a bunch of people
A
writing
bunch
to
of
each other,
nerds
like,
writing to each other. Yes.
let's change
Yeah.
the world.
So yes, technically telescopes were invented by the Illuminati.
I can't.
All lies, man. All lies.
I'm just not. I don't know. I just don't know how to function. Because, I mean, as somebody who has looked at physics, I'm not a physics expert, but who's looked at physics and science, I mean, everything that was in that video made sense. One thing he, like, really tried hard to shoot down was the fact that it was, like, how does this thing re-enter the atmosphere going semi-parallel, but then land straight up and down? It's like, okay, here's why. Because the Earth is fucking rounded. All right. So coming in at a parallel at one angle is coming in straight down once you get to that point in the Earth. As the Earth turns, as you circumvent it, if you use your stabilizing systems, which in this case is fins, it's not jets, not entirely jets. It doesn't have like directional thrusters. It has these fins on it. So as it comes into the atmosphere, the fins pop up and go down, and basically it causes wind resistance on one side of the rocket so that it straightens out, and then it uses its rockets in the final stage to create just enough thrust so that it still goes down, but it goes down slowly and therefore lands in a reasonable manner. I don't understand why this is a bad thing. It's like, okay, why is it bad that we're making progress?
No, it's not bad that we're making progress. It's bad that we're making progress on a round Earth.
Oh my
We have to make progress on a flat Earth.
yeah, well, you know.
Man.
But yeah, I don't understand how these conspiracy people can keep these ideas alive, but
Well, because you see, I did some research as well.
Oh,
Much
God.
like the Overwatch discussion last week, I did some research about
Oh, he's doing research.
conspiracy
Here we go.
theories. And, man, it's
did you
just-
type in conspiracy rule 34?
No, I didn't.
I'm
All
curious.
right, cool. Now I'm gonna have to explain myself to the audience. Fucking TJ, you're part of the Illuminati, aren't you? So, where
I
do
deny
I even
nothing.
start now? Last week I talked about how Blizzard was taking down Rule 34 Overwatch stuff, and for the link shitter, I thought, you know what? I'm gonna try to find more news about that. So, as an idiot, I typed in Google Overwatch Rule 34. And I kind of regret doing that a lot. So I learned my lesson. But the research I did was not about conspiracy theories and Rule 34. Although that will probably be, man, that'll be odd. I just have conspiracy theories, and it's just the things they say, you know, and they believe. I even watched some of the classic stuff, like, oh, is Elvis alive? Or not, and I think there was something about the Earth being flat too, and hidden cities and the Bermuda Triangle and all that. It's just, and it's like,
I mean, I'm interested in knowing all, like what is actually happening in the Bermuda Triangle. Like that would be one of those like great things to find out, one of those great mysteries. But I don't think it's a conspiracy. I don't think there's like a world government capturing fucking planes.
I don't really think it's a whole the Illuminati made, you know.
Or what if it's just there to keep us distracted? If they want us looking there because they want us to think that there is something going on, so they're distracting us from the real issues.
Oh my God. Man, this button's making a comeback.
Yeah. So I looked up conspiracy theories, Rule 34, and there's nothing like. There's like one like Rule 34 like meme that has a hentai girl in it, but that's it. Like everything else is just like regular conspiracy theory pictures.
Oh, I remember
If
now.
there is such a thing.
I mean, I think it's kind of difficult to, you know, putting tinfoil hats and assassination theories with Rule 34. It's unless it's like death by snoo snoo, but you know, I
You'd
did.
probably.
Yes.
Oop, I was just gonna say, if you'd probably have to be more specific with which conspiracy theory you want Rule 34 of.
Yeah, man, we're going
Like
down a
JFK,
really weird ass
9/11,
tangent.
Illuminati,
So
the fun stuff.
one of the things, one of the videos I watched was really fucking funny. It was like explaining what the Illuminati is. And it was like some artists either work for the Illuminati, which you can see by the signs they make during their shows, and then they show like Jay-Z and Beyonce and like.
Can we put
then-
air quotes around the term science? Like,
Yeah, like doing the like a triangle with their hands, and so either that's a subliminal message or they're sending a distress signal because they know that if they speak out about the Illuminati, they're gonna be killed, like Prince and Michael Jackson, and I don't know. I think they even mentioned Paul Walker in the middle of it. Like they were getting close to the truth, and they got offed, apparently.
well, that's the lizard people. Who, and I saw this on Vice. So this guy, and this is for all you fucking UK people out there, just so y'all are all crazy.
God damn it,
Right.
Tyler! I blame Tyler. Just Tyler.
Pretty much Tyler. This is directed at Tyler. This guy, for like 30, 40 years now, has been writing books and making speeches about the lizard people who are living in the moon's hollowed out, who are living in the moon and controlling all of our minds. He has one reason for this that I can tell from watching this Vice documentary.
Okay.
There's one reason. Lizards like rituals, and we're very ritualistic.
Mhm.
What?
I'm not even fucking kidding you. That's the only thing. It was like, because the guy interviewing him was like, well, why do you think this? And he goes on this whole like, they do like a tour of his like hometown from when he was a kid, and like he went to a comic book shop and all this weird other shit. But the only like tangible reason that he gave for why lizard people might exist is because reptiles are very ritualistic, and we have a lot of rituals and marriages and political ceremonies and religious acts and all that stuff. We're very ritualistic. Ergo, we must be controlled by the lizard people who live in the moon that's hollowed out.
Mhm.
All right. So, is there King Cthulhu? Was Lovecraft after something? Did he
I don't
know?
I love when like people try to like pass off like quote unquote facts as actual facts. Like I'm not entirely sure there's much evidence to prove that lizards and other reptiles are ritualistic.
That's what they want you to think.
I'm going to say something here, and everybody who believes in these conspiracy theories is going to listen to this and say, look, they indoctrinated him when he was a child. I had a professor in college who worked on the Apollo rockets. He was a very convincing man. He used a lot of reasonable arguments with science, and he taught us many great things. I don't see how anything in like the moon landing videos was wrong. I mean, hell, even last year, I think it was NVIDIA, the graphics card company, made using their just exclusively powered off of their graphics cards. They made a whole physics engine around particles and light movement and all kinds of things to prove that the landing on the moon was in fact true, that it happened. And one of my favorite things is that people are like, oh, well, when they stuck the flag in the ground, it waved, and it wouldn't have waved if there was no atmosphere in space. False. What you're seeing in the video is that it was actually what you saw in the video of them sticking the flag in the ground was actually the second time they did it. Because that's the famous video clip. But you can go and find both of them. They stuck the rod in the ground that the American flag was on. The rod snapped. So the flag itself had a frame on it because there is no atmosphere in space. So ergo, the flag wouldn't have been waving. It would have been pointing at the ground. So what they did is they took two bars, one along the top of the flag and one along the bottom of the flag to hold it out to the left. So what happened was they took the bottom bar off the flag after the rod broke, the actual like support rod. They took that bottom bar out, stuck it on the support rod, and then stuck it in the ground. That's why the top of the flag doesn't move, but the bottom of the flag does. It's from the vibrations of sticking it into the moon's surface.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah. So, fucking debunked.
Yeah, you've been indoctrinated. That's
I know.
all.
See, I know. I've
God
been
damn it,
done.
Jim.
That's all lizard people conspiracy.
Yeah, see, the lizard people who are in fact the Illuminati, in fact, the Illuminati doesn't exist. They're the ones controlling just the world organization, and the Illuminati doesn't actually exist. There's another secret organization that we really don't know anything about.
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry.
yeah, so they basically, my professor retired, and they're like, well, we're gonna somehow control you into going and teaching from schools to indoctrinate the children. Anyway, fuck it.
Yep.
So another video I watched claimed that the world is not actually controlled by the Illuminati. Wait, what? Yeah. Apparently, it's controlled by a coalition of secret societies. So it's like Illuminati, lizard people, you name what other societies you know, Elvis fans or something. They're all like, apparently they get together and they decide, hey, what should we do with the world now? And yeah, so man, one thing that I just remembered is that if there is something that, in my opinion, perfected the art of conspiracy theories, was Assassin's Creed, especially Assassin's Creed 2. Because there were those puzzles that you needed to solve in order to unlock the truth, which was a really short clip about Adam and Eve, and showing like the precursor civilization and the ancient gods or whatever. I forgot the name they used there, and some of the stuff was like pointing that Hitler was actually working for the Illuminati, and like the presidents were also working for the Illuminati and all that. And they killed Tesla because he had a piece of Eden, and they didn't want him messing with that and all that shit. And Thomas Edison was actually being an asshole to Tesla because he wanted a piece of Eden or something like that. It's been a long time since I last played the game.
Well, I mean, like, it was not. First of all, it was Abstergo, not the Illuminati, and not so much Abstergo as it was the Templars. Gotta correct your organizations, man.
No, yeah, I'm kind of disappointed in myself because I thought I knew my Assassin's Creed lore. I'm fucking up.
And actually, interesting inconsistency about the Assassin's Creed lore was there's like pictures in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, I think, where it shows George Washington like rowing down the famous picture of him like rowing to do the sneak attack on the British German encampment.
Sneaky beaky.
And there's like a thing where you hover over it with a little magnifying glass and it magically makes stuff appear. And all of a sudden he's holding a piece of Eden. But in Assassin's Creed 3, it turned out that, George Washington was the good guy and he was working with Connor. So.
Well, he was
just a little
sort of a good guy. He was also an asshole at some points in the story.
Yeah, he wasn't an assassin, but he was still more or less a good guy.
Yeah, he was kind of an ally.
But the difference between Assassin's Creed and real life is that the conspiracies in that were actually all real.
By the way, I'm not calling the actual George Washington an asshole because I don't know much about him, but I'm talking about the game George Washington.
I mean, thanks for running the country for the first 4 years.
Yeah, just in case
that was nice.
Just in case he's actually still alive and he doesn't like my comments. Sorry, lizard man, George Washington, if you are a lizard man at all.
George Lizard Washington man.
But yeah, I mean, they did neat things together really well. It did work for the story. But the thing with most of the conspiracy theories out there is that they sometimes have so many plot holes. I know the correct word's not plot hole here, but they have a lot of inconsistencies. That's the word I was looking for. Like, things just don't match. But hey, maybe we're all being brainwashed.
Probably. You're all brainwashed.
Your face is brainwashed.
Every one of you listening to this, probably. My face is probably brainwashed.
Yeah, we're all gone.
Wake up, sheeple!
We just
Oh,
turn
yeah.
this into like
You
a
wake
Prison
up.
Planet podcast.
Oh man. All right, so you guys got anything else to add? So you can get in some sort of
Nope. I
Illuminati
think
watch
that
list?
the conspiracy theory about the lizard people and the ball Earth, or the flat Earth rather, is all stupid.
Just
yes.
You can go. You started first.
Nah, it's actually going to be the final statement for this topic, and then we can move on. So you go ahead.
I was just gonna say that one other tiny little thing I found when I was jumped down the rabbit hole of flat Earth stuff. I saw a video in the links that was it was this long playlist of all 82? It was either 82 or 182 species that live on Earth, and the video would just keep going completely dead and acting like all this was complete fact, talking about the different races that vie over control of Earth, like the reptilians and the Enthardians and all these other things, and how they're like these secret society. It was basically the premise of Men in Black. Like they're these secret societies of humans that fight and conduct diplomatic stuff with these, aliens that live on the moon and have bases and all this other stuff. And I saw 2 aliens and then I gave up.
Can't deal with it anymore. I mean, I'm not entirely opposed to the idea that like we have been visited by intelligent species. I don't think that that's necessarily insane. However, I just don't see them controlling us without us like having any kind of inkling that they're here. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've always thought that I don't believe that we've ever been visited by any sort of aliens, but I do believe that there's a strong possibility that they exist somewhere else in the universe.
Sure.
That's my opinion. Like people.
I mean, my thing is that we can only imagine with our own level of technology. So my imagination is that if we've been listening to the skies for as long as we have with radio signals, I mean, even amateur astronomers at this point would have heard something if there was something out there, I imagine. I mean, granted, I guess we've really only been doing that for like a good 60 years.
And on top of that, we've only been looking at like 0.5% of the total sky that we can see from Earth. And that's not even a lot of the universe that we can see.
That's true. I mean, that's not even a lot of the galaxy that we can see.
We can only see, I think it's like we can only see like 10,000 stars. It's either 10,000 stars or we can only see up to 10,000 light years away. I don't remember what the actual number is, but there really isn't a lot of the universe that we can see. And we're not looking very far.
No,
but,
that's true.
We can still see a lot in that 1% of the sky that we're looking at. So while we may not have found anything yet, there's still the possibility that we could. And then there's always the possibility, as some people have said, that, life is still possible, obviously, because we're here, but maybe humanity is the first civilization. Like, when we talk about those advanced civilizations that have been going for thousands of years, we could be it.
I was about to say,
which is terrifying.
What would that be? Wouldn't that be some shit? Like, we finally get out there into space just to realize that we're the most advanced of them all. It's like, wow.
Man.
What a fucking letdown.
Every time we find a habitable planet, we're like, yay, time to start a colony. There's a bunch of monkey people living in a
fuck
tribe.
That. We'd kill the monkey people. We're making them our slaves. Fuck that shit. Humanity first.
Well, we'd at least think about it for like 10 seconds before we decided to commit genocide.
I mean, not genocide, but I if we're the better species, I mean, don't apologize for it. Just fucking do it, bro.
TJ, the model UN fights are starting to have a bad effect on you, man. No. Also, what could be the America fuck yeah equivalent to Earth?
Earth, fuck yeah.
Oh, you can look at it on the same way that Europeans took over America. Hey, Native Americans, this is ours now. We'll let you live in these tiny little places, so you feel like you're at home, even though it's not your home.
And they could have just integrated,
But hey, as shitty as it was for the native North Americans, I think for South America was just as bad or even worse, because you guys had like you guys became a colony so people could live in it. We were colonies of exploration, so they just came here to steal our shit and take it
I mean,
away.
that's kind of well. I mean, the United States was founded on colonies that wanted to get away from religious persecution. But I mean the United States as it is today. I mean, it was just colonized just like South America was, and then they were just explorers. They were seeing what was over here, and they found a bunch of shit that they liked, and they're like, you know what? I don't see why we shouldn't take this stuff. So,
Yep. I mean, they bought it. Louisiana Purchase.
right?
They earned the right to steal that land.
I mean, yeah, pretty much when you go in and like you just by your simple existence and your body's immune systems causes diseases and just wipes out the majority of the native population without you actually actively doing anything. Yeah, you kind of do.
Well, hey, the Native Americans got their own punch in. Thanks, syphilis.
Thanks, syphilis.
Yeah, but the thing is, like you said, Jim.
Hey, here's a conspiracy theory. Maybe the Native Americans made syphilis to get back at all the rest of us.
They made them in their genetic laboratories. They wanted to fight back with their advanced technology, but they were a peaceful people and couldn't do it.
Okay. Yeah, so like I said, Jim, people went there to escape from religious persecution.
Mhm.
So they established themselves there. You know, they were they
Right.
wanted
Well,
to-
after the colonies, not as the United States, but as a vassal to various European powers existed. Yes.
Yeah, and the thing is, here, well, at least in Brazil, they just came here and were like, huh, this wood is cool, which is the wood that we're named after. This wood is cool. We're taking it, but here is a mirror. It totally is worth 100 trees. Yes. Seriously, that shit happened. Like they would exchange.
Oh, that happened with all the European powers. Absolutely
Yeah.
did.
Man,
Yeah.
but it's just so weird to me how people were convinced that a mirror was worth like 100 trees or
They
something.
didn't know. They had no idea. It was a completely alien and foreign concept to them. I mean, how do you put a value on something that you have no concept of?
Yeah, then again, I mean, if like aliens came down here, were like, hey, we got this hover car or this
Yeah, well, I mean,
laser
if-
rifle. It's
if-
totally worth 2 cities.
Right. I mean, if aliens came down here and were like, "Oh, we're going to give you faster than light travel," and we're like, "Oh, that sounds fantastic. Thanks, aliens." And we gave them, I don't know, we gave them a couple states or something. I mean, they're like, "We appreciate you a lot for that." And then we go out into space and realize, "Oh, wait, this faster than light engine produces a lot of radiation that we didn't have an ability to detect 30 years ago, and now our entire species is dying." Like that's, that's like, I don't know what kind of comparison that is.
But I think it's a fair trade. We can give them Alabama.
I mean, I don't know how the people of Alabama would feel about that, but
So,
Hey, they won't get radiation poisoning.
that's a fair statement.
so just so we can move on to the next topic, I don't want to start a rumor or anything, but TJ does have solid evidence that maybe Tyler isn't actually British at all.
What?
Yes. Next topic. So, did you guys see that Fallout 4 finally has mods for the consoles?
Yes.
It's had mods for quite some time, and apparently, I forget. Bethesda came out and said that the mods on the Xbox are 50 times more popular than that of the PC. But I was just listening to something about this morning. That only takes into account mods downloaded from the Bethesda Fallout 4 site and servers. It doesn't include anything from like the Nexus mod community.
Yeah,
That's
but
true.
I think you can just get mods from the Bethesda site, isn't it?
On the
For
on the
Xbox, yes.
console, yeah, you can only get it on the console. They don't have anything hooked up to Nexus at the moment. I don't know if they plan to.
I don't know if that. I was going to say I would imagine that would take some doing on Microsoft's part to allow that at some point.
Yeah, it's probably more about regulation. They work closely with Bethesda, to publish this, but they
Mhm.
can't really control like a third-party modding community.
Yeah, you're not sure what you can get, and that's kind of the up and down of the whole console thing. Is it's like in some respects it's less open, but it's also it's more because it's more controlled. It can also be safer because then it's like regulated.
True. Although it's better than not having mods at all. Like I've
Yeah,
been doing
no,
a
I
lot of
agree.
it recently, and the first time I've ever been able to mod a Bethesda.
Modded quite a number of my computer games over the years, and I've enjoyed it quite a lot. So
Yeah, it's been interesting. I have a minigun that shoots mini nukes.
A minigun
like
that
that.
shoots miniguns.
Minigun that shoots miniguns that shoot mini nukes.
Yeah, I actually there's a mod out there for Sins of a Solar Empire. It's a total conversion mod that turns it into a giant Star Wars galaxy, basically. For episode 6, it kind of follows the old expanded universe, so like Star Wars Legends expanded universe, and it's pretty fucking serious.
So
it's pretty wild.
does the storyline get changed and you're actually looking for your father, and it turns out your father is Darth Vader?
No, it's after episode 6, numbnuts.
Hey, you really think Vader
Shots
got
fired.
all the way burned? Come on.
Conspiracy.
Maybe his other lightsaber wasn't burned, if you know what I mean. Wink.
Let's be fair, that thing's been gone since episode 3.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't lay face in a lava pit and expect to come out of that one with everything working.
No, I don't imagine so.
And I'm kind of torn right now with mods because I want to try them out. As I was always mostly a console player, I've never really indulged in mods. But I do want to get the rest of the achievements, and I want to play the DLC, which I have yet to get because it's super fucking expensive, and hey, economic crisis. We're fucked. We're really fucked.
Yeah.
And so
See, there doesn't need to be a conspiracy theory. Like, we're pretty good on our own without lizard people fucking us over. We're pretty good doing that ourselves.
Unless they started the economic crisis in Brazil, in which case, go fuck yourselves, lizard people.
I mean,
Fucking
obviously
assholes.
they did.
Staying in my way, and I can't get the season pass. But anyway, I still want to get that at some point. But I did hear the mods stop you from getting achievements. So,
Well, the thing is, you can enable them and disable
I was about to
them.
say, I assume there's like an on-off option.
Yeah. What
Oh.
happens is, like when you load up a mod, when you turn on mods and you load up your save, it basically creates a new save with the mods installed. Like if you're doing an old save, it creates a new save with mods installed, and then once you turn them off, it'll have a different set list of mods or a different set list of saves that should be unmodded. And there's a little icon next to it that says M that tells you that it's modded and achievements are turned off. But if you have them disabled, then you should still get achievements.
That's cool. Huh. I might start researching them. I
will
hear
say-
there. Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, I will say you still have to be careful even on console because I did download one mod that broke my game.
Oh shit.
It wasn't even anything spectacular. It was a little holotape for your Pip-Boy that lets you spawn stuff, change your perks and things like that.
Oh, I think I
And-
saw a video on your DVR.
I don't know if that's.
So it's not even a good mod. That's what you're saying.
I mean, if it worked, it would be the best mod out there, but it doesn't. So now I have like 4 or 5 mods that all do the same thing, but they're separate.
Oh. Well,
But at
I've
least
run
my
into similar
game's not
things. It
broken.
sucks.
The biggest thing was you couldn't hack anything. You couldn't unlock doors, and I'm pretty sure none of the perks worked. So don't download that until it works.
Speaking of mods, and I don't know if we want to save this for another podcast. Do we want to like talk about the rumors of Microsoft releasing a moddable Xbox?
Oh Christ!
The creation
Don't
kit,
get me started.
or no, every Xbox. I think they either already released or they're releasing an update that turns it through software turns every Xbox into a dev kit.
No, it's not that.
I'm talking about physical. I'm talking about like upgrades
Oh,
Yeah,
or physical
okay.
hardware modifications.
Okay,
Yeah.
that kind.
Apparently, Microsoft's gonna pull on Apple and start releasing different versions of the Xbox One after the first one got released.
What are you talking about?
Yeah,
No,
like
that-
they're like
I
Apple
mean, the Xbox is
sells,
like-
let's say, iPhone 6, and then there's a few months later 6S, and now they're doing this.
It's not a
with
few
the
months later.
Xbox.
They do it once a year.
Well,
It's not a
you-
few months.
You
What do you mean, fuck you? That's exactly what happens.
I didn't say fuck you.
No, it's basically what they're going to do is they're trying to do like, at least from what I'm seeing, they're doing like a reverse Steam box, where Steam was trying to they were trying to take the traditional PC and put it into like a console format where everything was standardized, but you could, I don't remember, but I think you could add stuff onto it later.
Well, so it depends on the Steam machine that you got. Some of them were upgradable and some of them were not. And basically, they wanted to take like computer power and then like a more common computer hardware and put it in the living room, because that's kind of like where like I think that's where a lot of people feel like that's the future of computing is going to be. Is it's going to have to be in the living room if it wants to expand, because gaming. Yeah, the gaming segment of computers is, according to IDC, is the only segment of computer technology that grew last year. The whole industry shrank by like, I think in terms of sales, something like 8% or some shit like that. Except for those who are in the enthusiast and gaming market, which grew by 26% year over year. So.
Yeah. Apparently, what they're gonna do is like, as I was saying, they have released let's say the base Xbox One, and now there's at least one version that they have been talking about a lot, and I think it was leaked information, but it's gonna be the Xbox Scorpio or Scorpion.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard the Scorpio. It's internally referred to as the 1-2.
Yeah, and it's gonna be like 4 times faster, powerful. I don't know. And yeah, I mean, I'm kind of curious as to where this is going.
Well,
like,
I'm afraid that Microsoft's just going to completely fuck it up like they did with, I don't know, like Windows 10, for example.
Yeah.
I say it depends on how you look at Windows 10. I'm somebody who absolutely despises Windows 10.
I mean, I don't know how they could fuck it up per se, because I think what it looks like they're trying to do is kind of like Louis said, they're upgrading the hardware, not so much the software. So it should still, at least the first 3 or so generations that are close to each other should be running on the same software before they start writing newer software that is incompatible with the older, less powerful hardware.
Trust me, if they've got newer, more powerful hardware, they're going to make software exclusively for it.
Yeah.
True, but there's only so much you can do with, the dashboard before it becomes especially like a console dashboard. Before it becomes a PC, or before it becomes kind of pointless because it's a gaming console. Unless they're trying to go back to the whole, one media device to rule them all, which obviously failed.
Well, that's what Microsoft's long-time vision is. I remember listening to a podcast about this many, many, many years ago that said Microsoft's idea was Windows everywhere. That's where they went with like Windows Phone, and why the Xbox One has Windows 10. Like they want a single unified platform for everything. And so, that's absolutely where it's going to go.
Yeah, but specifically for the console Xbox, they can still run Windows on it because, there are less powerful Windows computers out there. There may even be some that are actually less powerful than the Xbox One.
Oh, there are tons that are less powerful than the Xbox One.
They're still running modern Windows operating systems, but
you call it running. I just bought this laptop earlier this week that I'm converting into a Linux box, and I was hoping to turn it into a Chromebook, but that has not borne any fruit so far. So that's still a work in progress. But the Linux part of it's working pretty well. And it came with Windows 10 pre-installed. That thing ran like ass. Holy crap! It really ran really shitty.
I can completely understand it. Once you get the hardware to a certain point, you should only upgrade the software so much. Like usually they put a cap on that. Like on Windows or on iPhones, like usually once you get a couple generations later, most of the time they won't let you download updates, but sometimes one gets through like the testing that breaks older phones.
Yeah.
And
there's like one part of like older testing. I remember when I worked at Apple, the big thing that was a big deal when iOS 7 came out. The iPhone 4S's ran really poorly because the way Apple redesigned the UI to utilize the more powerful graphics processors in the newer phones. And it was such a big deal. People were like, "Oh, they're just trying to force me to upgrade." And it's like, nope, that's not what Apple's doing. It's just the technology is so different that that particular graphics chip just cannot handle the UI changes that they made.
Yeah, that's
So Apple had to go back in and basically they redesigned a specialized version of iOS 7 for the iPhone 4S that was more CPU intensive, so that it wouldn't have the perception of being slower. Because that was the thing, is like in benchmarking it wasn't actually slower. It's just the UI was a little, the frame rate wasn't 30 frames per second. It was like 20, so people were getting shitty about it.
Yeah,
Like, my iPhone's slower
issue
now.
is they just need to work on like actual. Like I'm not trying to get into a whole Apple argument. It's just for any like software developer, as long as they need to keep updating the software for old hardware until it gets to the point where they're not really usable.
Yeah, I guess that's where the definition comes in, like what is and is not usable.
Yeah.
That sort of becomes subjective.
You can run hard like software checks and things like that. Like I know that's a possibility. They've got scripts on websites where it's like, you have this setting, this setting, this setting. You probably can run this game okay. And, if they wanted to put the effort into it, they could put something like that into an update client.
You're talking specifically about like gaming then?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Going back to my...
I thought we were talking about like general purpose software.
Well,
okay,
I'm going back to my original tangent was for the Xbox dashboard. I guess if they are planning to go for an eventual unified everything, they'll eventually want to put in some sort of port for the like a PC dashboard. But at that point, it becomes kind of awkward to use, especially with a controller. So I imagine they're always going to have some sort of Xbox operating system, no matter how closely based on the Windows 10 platform it is.
Yeah, I suspect it'll probably be like just an overlay.
Yeah, and with that, there's only so much you need to do for a controller. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like if they try to force it, they can do that, and it may work out well. It may not, but I think they should just not try to fix what isn't broken. Like I don't see too many consumers out there just clawing their eyes out, begging for Windows 10 to take over the dashboard of the Xbox.
Yeah, Windows 10, like it's the underlying operating system, but they basically have skinned the UI to be controller friendly. But you can hook up a mouse and keyboard and control it actually through the mouse and keyboard, which I did not know. Something I learned recently.
Oh, I didn't know that. I should try that.
The 360 could do that actually. Well, it could do that with a keyboard, not a mouse.
Does like a little cursor show up, or?
I'm not sure, to be 100% honest with you. I just read about it and I haven't actually done it myself. I have no.
It may have been they just added like keyboard support. Like I think I remember that specifically. They added keyboard support for a lot of like games and stuff through the Windows 10.
Yeah, and, that's probably the case.
Yeah, and all I'm trying to say is like even though hardware on the Xbox could become more powerful, I don't really see any need for them to be continuously updating like software until to the point where the Xbox, let's say we're 3 years down the line, we've got the Xbox Scorpio, which is a monster, and then you've got the Xbox One, like old grandpa humbling behind, trying to keep up with the, these newfangled operating systems, and it looks identical to the operating system we have today, but it, just can't handle it because they've just added in so much junk code that, to the consumer doesn't seem necessary.
Right. For me personally, I mean, I would think that with the hardware that's in the, and I think I've said this before, with the hardware that's in the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, I feel like we should be getting better system performance than we are, but we don't. And so it's a little bit disappointing.
Yeah, I think that
quite
is
a
just
bit frustrating.
Like it usually takes a couple of years for developers and whatnot to once they go to the initial limits and they realize how badly games are performing, then the next iteration they perform a little bit better. And then towards the end of the console cycle, you've got these really, really well optimized games that you're like, oh man, I just wish they'd release this on the next console and it would run so much better. But I mean, it's going to get to that point where games are really well optimized for the console, but it's going to seem slow the whole time because they're just getting better and better at, cutting corners to where we don't notice, but some people obviously always do.
Yeah, well, the trick behind that, and this is like, I can see that argument for previous generation consoles. I don't like that argument for the current generation of consoles for the simple fact that these are running off of what are essentially off the shelf components for Windows computers. It's an AMD processor, it's a 64-bit x86 processor. It's got 8 gigs of RAM, a 500 gig hard drive that's made by Western Digital. Yeah, I mean, it's not, the code or the hardware that's running the code is not different than what you would find on any other Windows 10 or Windows 8 or whatever, any computer really, just about, for the consumer space.
Yeah, that's completely true. But they do go beyond that. Like, the console always seems to be the baseline for, cross-platform games. Like, people will always notice certain graphical differences between a console and then your PC, which is running on ultra-high settings. So
right.
They have to cap it at some place and try to squeeze as much, power out of that cap as possible. And, I lost my train of thought, but
yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying is that it's like, as the developers get more accustomed to the hardware, they can optimize it better. But my argument against that is it's the same hardware in essence that we've been running for 15 years now.
That's true. And a lot of it comes down to the developers' choices in what they decide to do with that software. For instance, you've got Halo 5. The game on the surface looks great, but obviously there are some issues with it, graphically speaking. Like, when people get far away, they turn into these 10 frames per second stick figures.
Right.
And
they're kind of like 2D sprites.
Yeah, there's like no anti-aliasing, things like that. Things like that people, you can play the game and it looks great. It runs like a next-gen game. But you have to ask yourself the question, like, why did they decide to, do this kind of step backward, it seems? And I watched a whole video explaining, like, what the likely causes were. I haven't gotten far enough in my software engineering degree to be able to figure this stuff out on my own. But one of the big things is at some point in the development process, somebody at 343 probably came up with a great idea. Hey, why don't we take this game, which was likely designed to be 30 frames per second, and boost it up to 60 frames per second? And it seems to me like they just had to cut corners at the very end. It seemed like a very last-minute decision. And the game runs well, but if they'd kept all of those graphical things, it would have been pushed to its limits and things like that. And it just comes down to the developer choices.
Sure. My thing is... Go ahead, I'm sorry. I thought you were done.
No, I'm done. I just always ramble on for like one or two sentences more.
I don't know what everybody's like so got up their ass about, like, games being 60 frames per second, to be honest with you. Like, that's an imaginary PC number that PC gamers came up with. They were like, this is the magic number and it's perfectly smooth. And it's like, stop doing that. I mean, because that's what the refresh rate of, I guess, monitors are, the vertical refresh rate of monitors. So that's why they shoot for 60 frames per second, most monitors. And it's just like, who cares? I mean, if it plays good enough so that you can actually, I can understand it in competitive gaming. Let me put it that way. But if you're just like a casual gamer, I don't see why having this 60 frames per second is really necessary. I mean, I suppose I understand it because Halo is such a competitive game. I guess I get that, and that's what they were going for. But I mean, the game would be completely equally as competitive if everybody was locked at 45 frames per second,
Yeah, I would completely agree with that. Used to have all the Halo Championship Series things back during Halo 3. That's the last time I can remember there being a huge competitive scene for that. And that was straight up 30 frames per second.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's really just, them, trying to meet with everything needs to be 60 frames per second. We can't possibly have anything that's not 60 frames per second.
Yeah, I don't know if they're trying to win over PC gamers or what.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. At least I don't see it happening. Nobody's going to turn in their PC today and go out and buy an Xbox.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you just the attitudes of PC gamers are wildly different than that of console gamers. Because I mean, a console gamer will sit there and say, well, these graphics are good enough. A PC gamer will will scoff at that and go, absolutely not. Like I have the hardware. I can have better graphics than this.
I mean, for example, of like 30 FPS versus 60 FPS, Destiny, as much as I do not like it much anymore, and that's all I'll say for that.
Yeah.
The game looks really well, and you can it's pretty comparable to Halo because it's
Sure.
from the same developers. It's got that sort of vaguely cartoony but realistic sci-fi look.
Yeah.
So you can compare them. Destiny, 30 frames per second. The game looks beautiful. It's got huge openish worlds. They've got amazing skyboxes and lighting. 30 frames per second, no issue with that whatsoever. And then you go on to, Halo 5, the game still looks great, but when you try to compare it to basically a 3D painting, like Destiny landscaping and lighting and things like that, it doesn't really hold up as well. Things look a little plasticky, and then of course we talked about when things get farther away, they turn into like these weird patterned stick figure thingies. So they could have easily made. I just personally think they could have easily made Halo 5 look as good as, if not better than Destiny, being a game developed for, next gen only. They could have made it look just as good as, if not better than Destiny, if they decided to go with a lower frame rate.
I agree.
I don't necessarily think we need to, jump straight away to more and more powerful equipment. It's always a good thing to have more powerful hardware, but it's still up to developer choices to make things, count where they need to.
I will say though that I'm worried if they do go down the route of turning Xbox into pretty much a PC, like you can switch around parts or whatever. For me at least, it's gonna be the same thing as having a PC. So if they do go on these hardware changes, or if they go down the Apple path, and start making the Xbox One S or 2S or whatever, I don't know, man. I think it will be more worth for me to just switch to PC altogether. It will be a bit more expensive, but then again, there are Steam sales which will make up for the game prices.
Right. I mean, my only thing is like I would like to see Microsoft like merge the PC and the Xbox like gaming platform. I would really love to see more games on Windows that tied into specifically like the Xbox achievement system. Which I know they're doing that with games on Windows 10, which is fine and dandy, but I don't, because of how much tracking and advertising that Microsoft puts into Windows 10, I don't want to deal with Windows 10. I don't feel like it's really an operating system for me. And so I don't think I'm going to get that experience. But if Microsoft comes out and does this thing where it's like, well, we're going to make moddable hardware, or upgradable hardware, I'm just going to be like, well, fuck. I'll just stick with the PC life, Yeah. Right now I'm split, but I can go full PC. Pretty much the only thing I play Xbox for anymore is Halo 5 because I love Halo so much. But we'll see.
And Halo loves you back.
I hope so.
Not really.
And if they go full, wannabe PC, they may end up just publishing Halo games on PC.
If they do that, then fuck the Xbox. I'm done. I have nothing on it because
that's probably the only reason they haven't done it yet.
Yeah, it's they've got to have exclusives to drive the games. I feel like it's for me it's Dragon Age, Mass Effect. That's on PC. Pretty much any good real time strategy game is exclusive on PC. Yeah.
It's an interesting thing because apparently they're gonna try to milk. At least that's my point of view. I could be completely mistaken, but I tend to see these kinds of things under a very bad lenses. So apparently they are gonna try to milk the console market as much as they can, but it's gonna, the thing's not gonna work as they expect. I'm pretty sure a lot of people will make the switch to PC gaming.
Oh yeah, that's why I said.
They'll
probably fuck it up.
All right, so we were gonna talk about Uncharted. We even had some people lined up for it, but due to last-minute circumstances, they weren't able to show up. So, do you guys have anything on Uncharted, or we can just leave that one for another day?
Save it for another day because I've never played it, and I don't.
Yeah,
think
same
that
here.
TJ needs to just talk by himself.
All right,
So-
yeah. So apologies to the audience in case you guys came here just for that, but hey, at least you got a lot of stuff about conspiracy theories and Xbox. Hey,
And Xbox.
Bill Gates is part of the lizard people. So
I don't think there's
questions.
any proof of that.
Yeah, probably not. Sorry, Bill Gates, but if you are, I'm not sorry. So you know, I don't. I'm sorry anyway. I wanted to ask Tyler to put the X-Files theme again for the questions, but I figure we shouldn't break the tradition. So, da 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 questions. There we go. You're welcome, Jim. I know you love that.
I took my headphones off.
Damn it. Well, TJ, you gotta leave soon, right?
Yeah.
Damn it. Have you taken the Pottermore test?
Not in a long time. Long time.
Damn it.
All
All right, we might have to leave this one for another day then.
I was about to say, I mean, maybe we should just answer like one or two questions and just be done with it.
Yeah. All right. So this one was asked by Dr. Sparks, and she asked, "Not sure if this one has been asked or not, but what is the reason behind your username?"
Who wants to go first?
Okay, I'll go with mine. When I made my Rooster Teeth account, the very same day I was talking to a friend of mine, and we were just discussing how cool sloths were. I shit you not, that was the conversation. And like, there had been a bunch of sloth memes at the time and all that. And so we're just talking about, oh yeah, sloths are pretty cool and all that. And so when I was creating my username, I thought, what would be a cool concept for a sloth? Oh, I know, a warrior sloth. Well, what kind of warrior? Well, there are Spartans. So SpartanSloth was actually inspired by the ancient Spartans, not the Halo Spartans. And yeah, it was just the two things. I thought it would be funny to see a sloth dressed as an ancient Spartan soldier. And that's it. And then I typed on the internet if there was anything with the name SpartanSloth, just in case it's a username by someone who's been doing it for longer. Apparently it wasn't, and I did find the image, which is my user image on Twitter and the Rooster Teeth site to this day. It's been like 3 years, which is a sloth head on Master Chief's body. So that's it.
Two.
All right. Me, my first year of college, I'd written a novel. I feel like I've told this story at least once before. I had written a novel, or I was in the process of writing a novel. I was pretty much finished with it, and I was gonna work at getting it published. And due to some of my own stupidity, I pretty much just deleted everything on my computer and lost it. So Jim Servac is the name of the main character, and that's my way of keeping him alive, I guess.
I didn't know that, Jim.
Yeah. So
I mean, I know that Jim is not your real name, but man, that's, oh boy, I feel bad for you.
Never forget.
Never forget. It was pretty much. I think it was 364 pages, unedited. So it was a work. It is the longest work I'd ever done. And when it comes to being a storyteller, generally once you tell a story once, you can't tell it again. So I just never. I tried to restart it and just never could. So
I'm sorry, that kind of sucks.
Man, I feel like giving you a hug right now.
that's all right.
Sorry,
It's a long time ago, man.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I need to say anything for my name.
You thought 1023 was cool when you were 12, right?
Yep.
All right then. So, after TJ's very enlightening story, the next question is by Sunny8B, and the question is: if life gave you everything when you ask for it, will life be worth living? Also, what would you ask for?
No, life would not be worth living.
TJ?
Yeah, I'd probably go with that answer. I can't see there being anything to do. It'd be kind of boring. It's kind of like playing Fallout with a cheat mod. Yeah,
Can you break your game?
you have the power of the world at your fingertips, but you don't really want to do the main story because there's no reason to.
Yeah, I mean,
So yeah,
a lot of the fun in life, and at the same time, it can be very frustrating. But the the main thing about life is the journey itself. Because if you just consider, the end. What is the end? Death. You know, it's like, so what are you going to do from the day you were born to the day you die?
I mean,
No.
my thing about it is it's human beings. It's part of the to me, it's part of the human condition. Is that we have to have challenges, and so if we get whatever we're asked for, whenever we ask for it or whenever we want it, that takes the challenge out of life. And so now we're not human beings. Now we're
Lizard
something else.
people.
I don't. Yeah, lizard people. We're lizard people now. I don't see utopia being good for us as a species. You know.
So yeah. Point is, life is all about the journey, kids. So enjoy
That's
it.
right.
And don't drink and drive. I think that is also a metaphor for something in life.
and
Yeah.
when life gives you lemons, get a new life.
You find a new god.
Okay, so we need to be quick here. Before we ask a question for the audience, we do have an answer from the audience. What?
What?
Yeah.
Get out.
So this one was sent by Sunday8P, and it's from a question. The question is from podcast number 96. And the question is, if you turn into an animal that matches who you are, your personality, your looks, what would that animal be? And the question was asked by Gaff. So Sunny answered, I can be cute and cuddly, but also ferocious when I need to be. Duality, is that how you pronounce it? Yeah, anyway. The duality of me is very well represented in that way. God damn it, I'm fucking up words left and right.
Duality.
Yeah, duality. Thank you, Jim. So yeah, the duality of me is very well represented in that way. For those and many more reasons, I would have to say I would be a fox. And here's an extra answer to an unasked question. If I would be a mythical creature, I would be a kitsune. I'm not sure what a kitsune is, other than our friend from Australia, but because it's her username. Shout out to Kitsune. Yeah, so that is Sunny's answer. You guys got a question for the audience?
It's a type of a kitsune is a type of fox. That's what it is.
And what does it say?
It's from Japan. Let's see. Intelligent beings and as possessing magical abilities that increase with their age and wisdom. According to yokai folklore, all foxes have the ability to shapeshift into men or women. When some folktales speak of kitsune employing this ability to trick others, as foxes in folklore often do, other stories portray them as faithful guardians, friends, lovers, and wives. I feel like I'm gonna listen to this. I was about to say I feel like this is kitsune. It's not kitsune. It's kitsune. I had to listen to the name. They have pronunciation on the site, so that was cool. So yeah.
Oh. Yeah, well, my Japanese is really bad.
Yeah, when you said it, I was like, I'm not sure. I don't want to sound like an ass, but so that's why I had to check.
All right, so you guys got a question for the audience? Oh, I do have one, actually. So, for the audience, what is your favorite conspiracy theory? Or is there one that you actually believe might be true? Let us know in the comments. Or our forums.
Yep.
So,
Forums or
everyone-
comments, that's us.
Or, you can just send a letter to TJ's house or
just send
Tyler.
it to TJ. Snail mail it.
Yep, my address is 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue,
Yes.
for District of Columbia.
Yes.
So just send me those letters with a return address and envelopes packed with sugar, and we'll be fine.
Titled
What is that
for
address
Mr.
for?
Obama.
Oh, is that the address of the White House or something?
That is the White House.
That
Do
is the
not
White
do
House.
any of what I
TJ.
just said, or else you will end up on a watch list.
What
Yeah,
the
don't
fuck
do that.
is wrong?
Don't do that for real, kids. Sounds cute, but it's not.
Yeah, don't do that. Just, man, TJ, you're a fucking asshole.
Bad things happen to good people.
Everyone, thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to listen to the outro to find out how to interact with us. And until next week, don't send any sort of letters to the White House, please. Bye.
Bye, Felicia.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Shifty Key Podcast. The intro and outro music is provided to us by our editor, TDBTyler. To get more involved with the Shifty Key Podcast, you can answer the questions for the audience asked by our guests, or even ask the cast a question of your very own, either here in the YouTube comments or in our Rooster Teeth group. To keep updated with this channel's shenanigans, you can follow us on Twitter, join and watch our group on Rooster Teeth, or simply subscribe. All links will be in the description. Until next week, goodbye.
Who's
So,
Felicia?
TG,
I don't know, it's from Friday. Everybody said bye, Felicia.
TJ,
Ew. Yes.
you said you need to go soon because you have to clean up the bedroom, the
I do.
bathroom. Is that it?
The bedroom.
I do have to do that.
boy.
Yeah, we're having the party in my bedroom.
Oh,
Sounds like it's time for a sexy party.
just with Pepper.
What?
Pepper.
Pepper?
Yeah, Don't let Jack blow black pepper into your eyes again.
Oh, yeah, that's not happening. I wear eye protection when I'm around him now.
Good
Like
man.
lab goggles. I also have pocket sand, for revenge. Anyway, on that note, I think I'm gonna head off before I say anything else, causing more extended awkward silences.
Yeah, I'm about to. I gotta head out too. I got something I gotta do this afternoon before I come back to record for Tyler and Gaff. So
Yeah, stay tuned for that one.
yeah, stay tuned, kids. There's gonna be you're gonna have yourself a bonus podcast here before too long.
Yep, stay tuned.
All right, so bye.
Wait. One final thought. You know what I should do? I
Yes.
should learn how to make mods in Fallout and make
Yes.
a Shifty Key podcast radio channel mod.
Oh, yes.
That would be
Worst,
actually-
best idea ever.
Hey, you
I
know
actually
that
like that idea.
the radio station where Rex Goodman works? Replace everyone in there for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right.
Make a
on that note, I
Luis,
guess.
Jim, TJ, Tyler, and Vic. Right, so bye. Ted.
Bye.